Like to call to order the meeting of the district of Chetwynd. Can I have the opening statement read, please?
As we gather today on the traditional territory of the Treaty 8 Nations to conduct the business of the District of Chetwynd, we do so knowing that we are privileged to serve the citizens of this community, and we shall endeavor to conduct our business in their best interests. Thank you.
Thank you. Prior to adoption of the agenda, is there any new business from council that needs to be added? Seeing none, adoption of the agenda.
Motion to adopt. Second.
All those in favor? Carried. Minutes of the regular council meeting held on June 3rd, 2024. So,
Second.
any errors or omissions? Not seeing any. All those in favor? Carried. Delegation. Sergeant Wahnese, Antonio Stevens, Chetwynd RCMP, formerly retired.
Wait. Let's press this thing, right? I'm really tall. Ani, Miigwech for having me here on Treaty 8, well, beautiful Treaty 8 territory. Nin Wahnese Antonio Stevens, Nin Dijoba Tikabashing Nishnawik. I am from the Tikmashing Nishnawik Nation. Makwan Ndondam, my totem is the Bear Clan. Nin Mama Janet Antonioni Stevens, my mother was Janet Antonioni Stevens. Nusim Bapa Ronaldo Antonioni, my father was Ronaldo Antonioni. Nokumis Louise Bonham, my grandmother was Louise Bonham from the Tikmashing Nishnawik. And Nimi Noshimis Archie Stevens from Gitagan Zevi is my grandfather. Again, thank you. I'm the detachment commander for Chetwynd. And I'm going to present to you, Mayor and Council, and the quarterly reporting. This will be the final reporting for the last fiscal year, which ended in March 31st. I do apologize for my tardiness. Things happen. I did present this. You should have it all in front of you for following. I will go through it. We've had 3 major initiatives, which include enhanced road safety, the reduced substance abuse, and to communicate effectively. Under enhanced road safety, we looked at impaired enforcement, distracted driving, and motor vehicle act violations. This is what we felt was going to keep the roads safe for the Chetwynd community. We gave goals for our members to work towards, for the police officers to work towards, as an indication of success and something that maybe we can work towards. In 2023, we had gotten 32 impaireds, and our goal was to try to get 35 impaireds. We ended up getting 27 last year, which is still no small feat. It many indications we may have not have had as many police officers on the road, and just other files coming in. However, we still took 27 impaired operators off the road, keeping the roads quite safe throughout the year. That accounts to more than 2 impaired operators a month. For distracted driving, we had a very maybe overreaching target of having 20 distracted drivers off the road. We ended up getting 4. So I'll pat my members on the back for that, because it's actually quite challenging to find distracted drivers. They get more and more aware that they're being watched, and it's not so simple as people having their cell phones up on their faces anymore. They're being a little bit more discreet about it, which is more dangerous because they're more distracted and less likely to have their eyes on the road. We will still work towards that in the coming year with using more technology. So, we had our Motor Vehicle Act violations. We looked to try to get 480 speeders to reduce their speeds, and we ended up getting 213. For our reducing our substance abuse, we looked at last year we had 4 alcohol and drug seizures. We anticipated that to go down because of the 3-year plan, the 3-year decriminalization of drugs substance plan. So we had a goal of going through 8 drug and alcohol seizures. We ended up having 10, and this is for this is not just simple possession, as we're aware that it has been decriminalized to possess 2.5 grams of certain drugs, not all drugs, certain drugs. This is the more possession for the purposes of trafficking. So these are more of your drug traffickers, right? This is what we're targeting. We're not trying to go after people who are already vulnerable and are drug users, mental health issues. We're looking at trying to be more trauma informed as well, to try to stop the actual trafficking of the drugs. Park patrols, we went from 0 to trying to get up to 250 park patrols. We did 115. However, when we think about that, that's multiple members at a time. Each when they did a group of patrols, so if 2 or 3 members went out and did a park patrol, they only counted that as one. So we did have quite a bit of presence in the parks, and we had it listed, and I didn't bring those with me, but the differences between park patrols at Spirit Park, even at the Ball Diamonds, Fitness Park, even down at on the Nations, just making sure the parks are being respected as well. School patrols, we went from 0 to 100. We ended up getting 89 school patrols, and that includes the members going out and doing the Lucky Charms eating contest, or going out for Truth Reconciliation Day, Remembrance Day, going out reading to the kids in the elementary schools. And so that's a little bit of a lower number because the members go out all the time to the schools. They often don't write it down if they're just going in, popping in and saying, hey, or popping in and just to go and play in the schoolyards. They don't write it down. So those are mostly just when they've been requested to attend the schools, or when there's an actual program, not when they pop in. So I would say that we've had probably a lot more interactions within the schools. And again, that's really important because if anybody knows anything about 40 assets, the more times a child has positive interactions with an adult or with a police officer, a firefighter, or anybody within the community, it increases their position of being successful in life, right? So we're trying to get more interactions, more positive interactions with the police, right? Not the, oh, look, the police are coming, please run. Don't run from us. We're actually pretty safe. And we're all really friendly in Chetwynd, actually. Our communicate effectively, the attended meetings that we had, we were hoping to attend about 80 meetings. We ended up attending 107 meetings. And that's mostly between myself, the 2 NCOs, Corporal Jared Chapman and Corporal Marika Masters, and our IPS, our Indigenous Policing Services member, Constable Adam Broniach-Maslis, which unfortunately I have to say he has left us. He's on his way to Masset. We do have another IPS member coming, actually he's here, Constable Jeff Pratt, and he will be taking over where Jeff left off. So both Marika and Jared will be here for another couple of years, so we're lucky about that. Our victim services, we were hoping to go from 83 to 100 contacts, and we went up to 195 this year. So our numbers exponentially increased from the third quarter, from 46 contacts, 36 clients, to 81 in one quarter. So something happened obviously over the Christmas, into March and everything else. I can't say exactly what that is at this point. It's something that we are going to be looking at discussing, because those contacts aren't reducing at any point. They're still pretty high in the last couple of months. Our human resources, currently the detachment human resources, we still have 1 detachment commander. I've asked for an extension. My timeout was in December, and I've been granted my extension, or not December, sorry, October of 2024. I've been granted my extension to October of 2025. We have 2 NCO supervisors who will be here for the next 2 years, 6 general duty investigators, and 1 Indigenous policing section. We do have 1 staffing action to get a recruit from Depot, so he's coming in July. A young Indigenous gentleman with a wife and a very young, maybe 1.5-year-old baby. So I'm looking at getting little baby snuggles. And then we still have 1 member who's still on this recruit field training, so he's still attached with his trainer. which means we really only have that's one unit, right? That it's not like having the whole 6 members. Basically, having your 5 members, they have to still have someone else to back them up. And then we'll be having, once Adam leaves, which is on the 23rd, really, he's packing and loading, we'll be having another one that we're going to be requesting from Depot as well. So as of the 25th, we'll be 3 members down. Of note, we will be having our first Citizens on Patrol training will be on June 23rd. If anybody's interested in Citizens on Patrol, they can always come to the detachment and speak to me about it. But really, it's about having ears and eyes on the road, in and around the community, and just to be able to talk to the police and say, hey, this is what I saw, this is what we see going around, and let us know. And we are really looking for people who want to be part of Citizens on Patrol. It is a great program. It's working very well in Dawson Creek and the Rolla area, and I believe it'll work very well in here and what we need to have here in Chetwynd. And that's my report. I'm open for questions if anybody's.
That's it.
Thank you so much for your presentation, and thank you for applying for an extension to stay in our community for another year. It really is great to have a commander who does feel like part of the community, and I see you doing your outreach, and I think it's brilliant. My question is in regards to your numbers. It looks like you're really quite far off your targets. And is it due to lack of staff, lack of members? Can you speak to that?
So I think a little bit has to do, and I'll be presenting to the PRRD here, and I probably should have presented that. I can do that next month as well, or next month as well. Our numbers have increased as well, so our criminal code files have gone up. Our staffing numbers have gone down. We have been working with less than 3 members. We did have a situation where there was we had 3 less members, plus we had 2 members on extended leave. So now you're looking at 5 members down in an 11-member detachment, right? It was a little bit of a peculiar situation. We just didn't have police officers out there, and the priority is to respond to calls. And then when you get a chance to do the proactive policing, so all of our numbers are all proactive to try and increase the road safety, whereas what we have been doing is just all reactive policing. And when we have 2 members go off duty sick, and I was one of those members, and I have no problem saying mental health is key, right? We all have to take that time sometimes. And if anybody wants to talk to me about mental health, I'm open. I'm an open book. It takes time to get back from that. So there's always, you'll have a member, an average member will have about 12 files in their queue that they're always investigating. Our members tend to have 20 to 30 files, which is way more than what we should be having, but it just takes time to get those numbers down. And we're talking about months, just because they have so many in their queue, they can't just get rid of them, right? Some of them, we'll just say simple B&E files. You have a fingerprint, you can't just get rid of it. You still have to figure out whose fingerprint that belongs to. You just have to do some, statements from, next door neighbors and everything else. So that's a big reason why that's happened. And then in addition to our file count going up, like our criminal code file count going up. And it's not substantial yet. We've been really working really hard. I know, Ellen, the CAO, and Councillor McDonald helping with the COP of trying to keep those files at bay, so that these files that are coming from our larger communities, like our Dawson Creeks and our Fort St. John's, that they don't creep in any more than they already have into Chetwynd. We're really trying to keep that at bay. Does that answer your question, Councillor?
It does to some extent. And how are you doing with your acquisition and retention of new members?
So nobody's really extended since our last group of people. So the last group, when I first got here, we had 2 members extend for 1 year. In our post, it has been that we were only allowed to extend 1 year. Now I'm the next person to extend for 1 year. I do believe at least one of our members will probably stay to their 5th year as well. We have another member that may stay for their 5th year. I don't know about anybody else at this point. So everybody does stay for their whole 4 years. We did have one situation where one member was pulled out 2.5 years early, which again cost us a little bit of a human resourcing issue. Just because we'd put a lot of resources into that person. We had a plan of how we were going to stay on top of, our like I said, our employees, and making sure that we had the employees. He left it 2.5 years earlier, so that did cause a bigger hole than we anticipated. that's not on the norm. There are other areas in BC, say, that only has 3 members that had 0 members in their detachment. So when situations like that, when a detachment's almost fully staffed, so we had the 10 members, they'll take one of my members to post them somewhere else, right? There's some things I don't have choices on, right? There's the greater good, and we have to support that. We have to be cognizant that there are other areas as well that need provincial policing as well. So yeah, the members that are here, and I will say, Councillor Nelson, they love it here. So when they come here, they're not too sure. They've never heard of Chetwynd. Where is this place? They come from Alberta. They come from Vancouver, from Kelowna. And they're thinking, well, why wouldn't I go back to where I came from? And then they come here and they are just loving it. We have such a good morale in our detachment that they really do work well together. So we've had some bigger files that have come out that we've gained huge successes because of how well they work together. And they love being here. They all they are outdoorsy people already. They just didn't realize how great an outdoorsy place we have. And on top of it, they get free access to the detachment quads. As a commander, I have to understand that we have to use our quads. We have to use our UTVs that we have, our snowmobiles. Let's use them for fun too. So they get to use these equipment on off time if they come into a situation where, say, they see someone who's in an accident, then off comes the fun and comes on the RCMP hat, and they'll help out, right? They have to. They create a file, we'll pay them the overtime, and they do their job. They get into police work, right? So they get to use all of that. We have a boat up in Hudson's Hope that comes down. On Canada Day, they'll be out there on the boat having fun, being paid, to have fun, right? So the members do like it here when they are here, thankfully.
Thank you. It sounds like Chetwynd, BC is the place for all members to come and serve.
Oh, there's so many people. So we've had members coming in from like the PST, which is a provincial support team for if you don't have enough members to do policing, you can call upon a provincial support team. We have reservists. So these are members who have retired, say retired as sergeants, staff sergeants, inspectors, and they come back to be constables. And it's a way of keeping members on the road. And not one of them have said that they didn't like being in Chetwynd. We actually have a member in Dawson Creek who says he would love to come to Chetwynd to work. There's so many people that they really do love working in Chetwynd. They love working with our members and with the resources we have. So I have to thank Mayor and Council and our district for everything that we have here as the RCMP as well.
Okay, now one more question, if Council, anything, staff, opportunity. Okay, thank you, Ms. It's a pleasure.
Thank you much.
Yeah. No problem. Oh, very good. We'll continue with bylaws. District of Chetwynd zoning amendment bylaw number 1176, 2024.
Motion to adopt bylaw 1176, 2024, small scale multi-unit housing.
Second.
Discussion. Councillor Nelson.
So we did discuss this at our last meeting, and my feeling is, despite the fact that we're required to adopt it and adjust our OCP and bylaws, and it is provincially legislated, it's my feeling that we should never waive a public hearing due to the fact that at least we can allow for public consultation, even if there isn't a chance of not moving forward with the bylaw change, because at least it's something that we can go back to the provincial government with the feedback from our community. I believe that our community members deserve the opportunity, even when provincially legislated.
Staff, did you want to chime in on this one?
Yes, this one's a little confusing because the public hearing was waived, but we still posted and advertised the public's ability to have input. It's basically just a difference in terminology. People still had exactly the same opportunity to offer feedback as they would have with a public hearing, just with a different title. It was one of the things we questioned as a group to the province when we were going through the initial process on it, because we waived a public hearing, but we still offered a public hearing. And it didn't make any sense to us. But we did still offer our community the opportunity to weigh in, as you suggest, very rightfully.
Oh, thanks, Steve. I didn't see that advertisement for that. I just, anytime we say things like we're waiving a public hearing, it does make me feel a little uncomfortable. So thank you for clarifying.
Yeah, thank you, Councillor, and just public alone, when we use public, right? And that's what the public does gravitate to when we talk about our public. So it's public hearings, not public in there, it's going, right? Public hearing. So anyway, thanks for that, and thank you, staff. Any more discussion on it? Okay, all those in favor? Okay. Committee reports and liaison reports. Councillor Hunt?
Yeah, I feel like I'm playing catch up. I have two today. First off, on June 4th, I went up to check out the Little Prairie Museum. I definitely did not have enough time to see all the things that they have there. I know a couple of us have gone. I highly recommend the rest of us checking it out because any kind of foot traffic is really beneficial for them. They also have created a book, Chetwynd history book. They're only selling for $50. The paper probably costs more, but for somebody who is not a lifetime Chetwynd resident, it has been very informative and will probably take me quite a while to read and catch up, but I really do appreciate it. I quickly caught up with Rebecca before the meeting just to touch base, and she let me know that she's working collectively with the museum council is working with other local museums to prevent closure, to share information, and just to help bring in more business. So it's really great. I look forward to working further with them moving forward. And then moving on to, I went to meet with Marlon at Chet TV, and he gave me a very impressive and informative history of how it came to be. And honestly, I would need his big whiteboards to help explain it to all of you, but I recommend staying connected with them and watching for the things that come forward with them, like bingo in July.
Thank you. Any other reports? Councillor Deck?
I've got a quick one from FCM. It was, the opening ceremonies, the opening speech put politics and democracy in a good perspective for myself. The fellow that was speaking said basically, well, on yesterday's short fells, folks, carry on with the future. The workshops I went to, my first workshop was on diversity, equity, inclusion in the workforce. I feel comfortable saying all we have to do is look around this room and in our community, and I strongly believe Chetwynd is getting it right, has been for many years. Number two is leveraging the Green Municipal Fund grants, etc. I strongly believe our staff could do a workshop and teach a lot of communities how to move forward from what I've seen. Number three is the critical role of municipalities and farmers play in sustaining Canada's food security. In my opinion, we could be doing more in this area. For example, promoting local farmers and products and promoting the use of the community gardens a little bit more. Not that we haven't been doing everything, or not that we haven't been doing anything wrong. We need help out of the farmers market and night market at the rec team for just think a little more proactive on secure food programs. Building thriving communities through third parties, third sector parties, partnerships. In my opinion, we could be doing more to develop partnerships to see our community grow. I think we have to come up with new ideas that move projects and development better. The trade show floor was extremely interesting this year. I came back with several ideas. My one task that I wish to accomplish was to talk to CN Rail, although our community is fully aware of the crucial role CN has in our town. I talked to Brent Lang, VP of Engineering, about the duration of time our community is basically cut in two by the train. I asked him if there was anything that could be done about this, and he said he would have a response for me this week. Also, in regards to the timing of the trains going through town, basically in the morning and afternoon commutes, We're not the only community that this happens to, and this came from other councillors as well, and/or mayors. The long and short of it is, if that's changed in one town, it'll just be pushed down the line to the next town. I had also an interesting conversation with a fellow from Catalyst. It is basically a communication company that gets message out to people via phone in regards to outages, disruptions, etc. There's more, their service, but with the last local heartbeat resource, I think we should have a look at something like this, or at a minimum develop our own program. I also spoke with a small home developer, like a tiny home program where they move in several houses or whatever you want to call them, living quarters. This particular product may not suit our town, but the idea about the wheels turning on how we can move forward ourselves on maybe some other projects. Summary of the convention. The convention was very well done, and I recommend that everyone attend at least one in their time of service. Also, the only shortfall I personally saw was during the resolution progress. It was tedious at best, and a lot of time wasted on redundant speakers. And then, once again, thank you very much to Lenore for putting the accommodation and convention package together. I would have been lost without it again. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Deck.
Thank you, Councillor Deck. I always thought that what Chetwynd needed was an overpass to deal with the train heading through the town. And I think it was you that told me due to the slope, it would go from one end of the town to the other and be hugely expensive. So when you talk to CN, I'm going to suggest a tunnel. That's my new platform.
You can talk to them next time.
Okay, thank you for that, Councillor Deck. My question is maybe not a question, I guess, comment about attending FCM, and on a regular basis that I have been networking with federal people and big city mayors and councillors. You get a different perspective from them, and just on a point that it's in the news with Calgary losing their main water supply. It was happened right on the Wednesday we got there, and we got the alert at 6:30, 8 in the morning. It was just beep, beep, beep. We got up, looked at it, and go, oh, it's just water. But later on the day, when we looked at it, when they got the pipe out, it wasn't just water. It was a huge pipe. Like I think it was about 6 foot, and it was the main line that fed every place in town and communities outside. So thank you for that, Councillor. And I'll just continue if any other reports.
I do, but please proceed.
Okay, I'll just continue with the FCM. I did also attend there in Calgary. The FCM was held there, and the CEO of the FCM, Carol Saab, reflected on the year from FCM that FCM had. One of the items mentioned was the Municipal Growth Framework Fund, and that's to help municipalities construct infrastructure and whatever's needed. There was never a fund out there until 2024. So they're working on it, and which is billions of dollars worth going to Canadian municipalities to help out in the infrastructure. She went on to mention that the conference was the largest they've ever held. It was 3,100 delegates attending in Calgary. So it was quite the show, and Calgary's known for putting on a great show, the Calgary Stampede being one of them. So anyway, I'd like to thank Calgary and the mayor. Speaking of the mayor, Mayor Jyoti Gondek spoke with the delegates on Friday, June 7th. Mayor Jyoti pointed out how the province and the federal government are downloading the cost onto local communities. Property taxes is the only municipal generating funds to operate the communities. The province takes its share of that fund of the property taxes, and this year they're increasing Calgary's by 12%. So the download to municipalities are in the fashion of environment and related infrastructure, policing and related costs, health and social services, solid and liquid waste management, roads and highways. For an example, here in town, if we just paid one street, we had, I think it was $1.1 million at Chetwynd, the district, put out for one street. Imagine with the bigger cities, but imagine the cost per dollars per for capital stuff like that for Chetwynd, $1 million for a community of 2,600. So then we talk about Calgary, and just the water main break alone is quite substantial. And she was pretty loud about the province and federal government taking money and not sending it back. It's in their mandate to give us municipalities money to do these kind of things in our communities, and which they are doing compared to giving and having a deficit. We're the only municipalities, we have to have a balanced budget. Federal, provincial governments do not. So that stands very good for us as our staff and any staff in any community, they have to run a balanced budget. So that was quite a thing that we get out of these things that I attend, and we kind of do that, but once you put it out to the public, our community, they have to understand that. We have to run at a balance. So I heard from the Prime Minister, we all heard from the Prime Minister. He was, I think, in Normandy, France. Then he flew back. He wasn't scheduled to speak in Calgary, but made time. So good for him to make time to come to the FCM. He's been coming to the FCM since he's been, I think, 7 years. He's been coming to the FCM. So he spoke on the Housing Accelerator Fund. The program helps increase supply and supporting the development of communities that are affordable, diverse, and climate resilient. He answered a question on this matter. Some applicants were denied because there wasn't enough funds from the federal government in this housing accelerator fund. So they are putting millions of dollars in adding to this fund because they had a shortfall. Well, it wasn't a shortfall. After they denied, then they looked at it and says, there should have been more done. And we are still in a housing crisis. And one thing for our staff here from Dawson Creek, CJDC, I talked to the Michael Bob from CJDC during the fire, and we had people come here from other communities. He wanted to thank the staff for being very professional and accommodating and polite, and to the volunteers too that did do the work. So he was sending his thanks for that, and thank you for that. And as for that, I believe we had some news that they're extending the park of the Southern Mountain Caribou. So it's, I believe, right up to the Yukon. I don't have a map yet, so it should be out here in a little while. So it's 2,000 square kilometers added. So we are in the process of digesting that right now. and there's going to be a few questions. And I guess I'll end it there because I have questions for the provincial government. So that is my report. And Councillor?
Thank you. I attended an in-person meeting with the GoFund directors and administration on June 12th last week in Fort St. John, and we awarded grants to various groups in the region. Once these groups are being contacted, the announcements will be made public on the NDIT website. One thing I can say is that there were no applications made from Chetwynd groups, and I'd like to change that for the future intakes. The GoFund is having 2 more intakes in 2024 for grants for nonprofit societies up to $10,000 each. I invite all of my colleagues to spread the word that these funds are available, and please invite our local societies to apply. The grant application is available online under the Northern Development website. It's a fairly simple application, and the deadlines for the next 2 intakes are August 9th and October 31st, rather. The Northern Development Initiative Trust facilitates the GoFund for BC Hydro, and they also passed out information in regards to Bus the North initiative, which I handed out to my colleagues. Everyone should have a pamphlet at the table. This initiative connects routes and communities along Highway 16 and 97, and I feel that many people are not aware of this busing option, so I provided this pamphlet and included this information in my report so our community may understand that they all have transportation options, and please visit busthenorth.ca for these transportation options that are available to us all. Further, in regards to the Chetwynd Public Library, the new library has actively been moving to the new building, and the new library should be open to the public by next week. I really would like to acknowledge the library director and staff, both past and present, because this dream has been a dream long time coming. And it is coming to fruition, and it is pretty exciting. And I do also acknowledge the Peace River Regional District, as well as the District of Chetwynd, and all private funders as well, because you'd be surprised how many community members have dished up a few thousand dollars for this project just because they care so much. So those energies and funds put into this huge project, much gratitude, and looking forward to a really exciting grand opening of this beautiful building. Thank you.
Any questions? Not hearing any? Any other reports? We're good. Motion to accept reports as?
So moved.
All those in favor? Good. We have no discussion items. Correspondence.
Motion to receive. Did you want that or?
Yes, I'm going to read this, if you don't mind, Counselor? Yeah, that's an that's yes.
Oh,
Okay.
please do.
May 28, 2024. To the Honorable Bruce Ralston, Minister of Forest. Dear Minister Ralston, I'm writing. First is from the city of Camel River. I'm writing to express my deep concerns regarding the provincial government recent management of forest practices, which are having severe repercussions on local communities and the broader provincial economy. As you may be aware, 2 weeks ago, Cantor Corporation announced its decision to close a sawmill in Bear Lake, curtail production at a pulp mill in Prince George, suspend plans for a new mill in Houston, BC. This announcement has sent shockwaves through these 3 BC communities, resulting in hundreds of job losses and the support of families and sustained local economies. The forest sector in BC is facing significant challenges compounded by uncertainties surrounding the fiber supply and the BC government forest policy and directives. Our forests are supported communities and families for generations. and it is essential to maintain this legacy. According to the BC Council of Forest Industry 2024 report, the forest industry in BC supports approximately 100,000 jobs across the province. The industry contributes 17.4 billion in value-added activities, with significant portions derived from forestry, logging supported activities, wood products manufacturing, and pulp and paper manufacturing. Additionally, the sector generates approximately 9.1 billion in labor income and contributes 6.6 billion in government revenue, benefiting provincial, federal, and municipal levels. The decline in the forest sector is not just a statistic. It represents a real crisis affecting people and communities. It is imperative that all levels of government take immediate and decisive action to protect good forestry jobs and ensure the sustainable future for this vital industry. Without significant change, announcements like the one Canfor made 2 weeks ago will become more frequent, affecting communities across BC, including Camel River. It is vital that we prioritize the health and sustainability of our forest sector to protect our communities, families, and the economy. I urge you to consider the far-reaching impacts of current forest management practices and to work collaboratively with industry stakeholders to develop policies that support the long-term viability of BC forest sector. This part we've experienced in our own community by Canfor closing their operations a couple of years back, and it's still reverberating across BC. And with some of the stuff that we don't have control over in our communities, this is what keeps me awake and thinking about where is the next industry coming from. So this letter is very important that we hear it, and everybody else should hear it that depends on forestry or part of the forestry, part of their community. Not all communities have forestry based to help them with their economy. But we're very fortunate right now that we have coal mine and oil and gas and CN and the gas plant. So we are situated right now that the situation isn't dire, but it could be in a heartbeat. So we have to be prepared. So I'd like to thank Camel River for sending us the letter and continuing to support the forest industry in that way, and sending the letters to the minister, which I talked to and staff have talked to on more than a few occasions. So thank you for that, and I guess we'll accept the letter.
Motion to receive.
Second.
Any discussion? No?
Mr. Mayor?
Go ahead.
Just as a question of direction, Mayor and Council had asked me to write a letter supporting forestry. I've got a draft, but I'd like to tag it on to this letter with Council's permission, because I believe there's strength in numbers. It's one of the things I was talking with my colleagues about it at the LGMA last week. And so we're going to try to get, like, not just a letter from Campbell River, but a bunch of communities supporting the letter from Campbell River. So if that's okay with Mayor and Council, that's what I would like to proceed with it. And you should get a draft here this week, by Wednesday.
I just have a question with, when you say tag, what does that mean to myself? Is it a letter from the city of Camel River, and a letter from us, or is ours just underneath or beside, or because when I understand together being together, but I understand that if we got a letter, this is from Chetwynd and this is from the city of Campbell River, I just need that clarification.
Absolutely, yes. What it would be is similar to a letter of support. This letter is being written on behalf of the District of Chetwynd Mayor and Council in support of the recent letter from Mayor Dahl of Campbell River, and then outline some of our, similar concerns. But it would be an individual letter that would directly reference the Campbell River letter in it, so that I think it's important that the province starts noticing that we're talking and that we're comparing notes, and it's not just Campbell River, it's not just Chetwynd, it's a bunch of forestry communities that are really concerned about this.
Okay, thank you, Steve. Okay, Councillor Wilson?
I was pleased to see this letter, not because it's good news, that's for sure, but really because we have already decided as a group to also write a letter. And I think standing in solidarity with these other communities that have been struggling like we have with forestry makes a lot of sense. And I think that this letter is extremely well written. And when they speak about fiber supply and BC government's forest policies and directives, that kind of says it all to me. So if we tag along, or however you want to call it, I think absolutely, because aren't we in solidarity with Campbell River and Houston and Prince George and everybody else who's really been affected? I look forward to reading your letter, Steve.
Absolutely, and you will all receive a draft, of course, before it's sent. And then if you would like something added or changed, then please feel free to add it as usual.
Yeah, just one, we do have one existing operational sawmill, so we need to make that clear in
Yes.
our letter that this is an opportunity for our government, for the provincial government, to make things viable.
Yeah, absolutely. Good point.
Okay. Did receive letter? Vote? Yeah. All in favor? Okay, he's got directive, so, I see anyone's got directive, that's great. Okay, move on to information items.
Motion to receive C1 through C10.
Right, has anybody got anything to lift?
I'd like to pull information item I4, please.
Okay. Any others? Okay. Excluding I4. Councilor McDonald?
Excluding I4.
Second.
Excluding I4. All those in favor? Carried. Councilor Nelson, I4.
Kind of an uncomfortable conversation in regards to the fact that Kamloops has released their mayor, and they're speaking, the letter speaks about having deputy mayors on a cycling basis, similar to how we run our deputy mayor situation here in Chetwynd, but now there is no longer a mayor there. What I read about it is that there's something to do with the code of conduct, and that this mayor was making misleading statements to the public without proof. And for me, I feel like when we live in a smaller community, that we really need to ensure the information that we are sharing, and that it's grounded in truth and proof. Not just when we operate personally, but professionally as well, because this is proof in front of us that spreading information can really negatively impact us, not just our own personal credibility, but our positions in public office. And I care so deeply about all my colleagues at the table. I would hate to see anything like that happen. So I think that there is value to having the conversation, and just an unfortunate situation.
Any questions or comments? Story probably is not all in the letter, so that's one thing that needs to be clear if you're to investigate or just look it up. There's other things that happen there, which is important. we could get a letter and we could read the letter for word. But there's other stuff. So when we do get letters like this, we take them for what they're worth and then we investigate. So you have to fact check and make sure that we are on board with all that. But I believe Councillor Nelson is correct. Okay, accept I-4.
Motion to accept that one.
All in favor? Carry. Okay, we've got reports for action. RA1 BC Housing Development Variance Permit. 01/2024.
Sure, I'll make the motion that pursuant to section 498 of the Local Government Act, RS 2015. Are we?
Just one point of order here.
Okay,
It's public input opportunity.
Pardon me?
Public input opportunity.
We have the public input opportunity
okay,
statement.
so, development variance permit number 01/2024, BC Housing, 4744 at 48th Avenue Street Northwest, public comment period. This portion of the regular council meeting is set aside to allow for public comment on the application for BC Housing for a development variance permit to allow construction of a two-car garage on the property located at 4744 48th Avenue Street, or 48A Street Northwest. This is not a formal public hearing process, but rather an informal process. I will, however, ask each person who wishes to speak to state their name and residential or business address and then provide council with their comment. I will now ask if there are any comments from the public on the application from BC Housing for Development Variance Permit 4744 48th Street Northwest. Not hearing any comments. Are there any further comments? I declare the public hearing concluded. Councilor?
Okay, I'll make the motion that pursuant to section 498 of the Local Government Act, RS 2015, Council of the District of Chetwynd authorize issuance of development variance permit number 01-2024 to BC Housing to construct a two-car garage, which would vary zoning bylaw number 1150/2023, section 4.11C, 4.11D, and 12.3.1.6A, 4.1JI to allow the placement of a garage 2 meters away from the principal building at Lot 4, District Lot 1814, Peace River District Plan 31468, also known as 4744 48th Street Northwest, within the District of Chetwynd boundaries.
Second.
Any discussion on it? Good, Councilor. Yeah.
I'm not sure if this was the last meeting that I missed, but is this it kind of looks like a duplex and then it's only one garage that they want, not like two eventually?
It is a duplex and it's a two-car garage to serve each side.
Thank you.
Yeah, good question, Councilor, because the public hears it, they're just asking for a two-car garage, but if it's for both sides or whatever duplex we need. Thank you for that comment.
So is it the first building on the right by Nicholson Road? Right behind the sushi place?
Yes, yes,
Fourplex.
yeah, fourplex, yeah, sorry.
Okay, You got all the information? Fourplex, two-car garage? Okay, any more questions? All those in favor? Carry. RA2. One, two, eight, nine, two, 58 BC Limited Development Variance Permit 02/2024.
I'll make the motion that pursuant to section 498 of the Local Government Act, RS 2015, Council of the District of Chetwynd give notice that it will be receiving an application from 1289258 BC Limited to place an accessory building 4.57 meters from the front of the parcel line on Lot 1, District Lot 1813 PRD Plan 24992, which is 5137 50th Street, within the District of Chetwynd boundaries, and that administration be directed to advise the public input opportunity with respect to the above application, and that to be scheduled on July 2nd, 2024.
Discussion? Okay. Councilor Nelson?
For clarification, this is, what I could tell, is on the den, the old Little Garden Apartments property, and it's an owner's cabin that they're building, is that accurate?
Well, it's on the den, that part's accurate. It's what the owner is proposing is kind of a gathering space for the tenants. He just wants to add another amenity to the apartment building. So it'll be, he mentioned maybe pool tables, holiday dinners, that kind of thing. So it'll be kind of a, I guess for want of a better term, a social club for the tenants.
So not a single family residence?
No, not a residence at all.
Councilor Smith?
I'm just wondering, like, it's kind of hard to tell by the lot plan, but their parking isn't going to be affected because it doesn't seem that parking lot is that.
No, and that's part of the reason they've requested the variance. It's an odd shaped lot, and where they're putting it is not supposed to impact their parking.
Any more questions? All those in favor? Okay, carried. Okay, RA3. Ratification of the adoption of the 2024 annual report. Prior to the report, this portion of the regular council meeting is set aside to allow public comments on the 2024 report. This is not a formal public hearing process, but rather an informal process. I will, however, ask each person who wishes to speak to state their name and residential or business address, and then provide council with their comments. I will now ask if there are any comments from the public on the 2024 annual report. Hearing no comments, I declare the public proceedings concluded. Okay?
I'll make the recommendation that council adopt the 2024 annual report for the district of Chetwynd as presented.
Second. Discussion on it? Councilor McDonald?
I'm just trying to scroll through it to get to the spot. So I was looking under the fire department report and the bar graphs in there, and I was just curious if the first bar graph, the year-to-date 2023 incidents, some of the descriptions of the incidents aren't complete. Like I know I've seen this one before, but is there a way that we can expand the descriptions on there so that members of the community could read the full description?
What page are you on, Councillor McDonald?
Page 35.
I would have to talk to Chief Golub about why. My guess is that it's probably limited to what they can share and these kinds of things. This is the information he provided us on the incidents. And because of course there's often, you know, personal tragedy and stuff with these calls, and then they're very careful. Is that what you're referring to, or?
Not quite. So it says alarms ringing ... and then it says alarms ringing ... So there's two different versions of alarms ringing, and so I was just wondering what the differentiation is between those two. And then there's other ones as well that are just incomplete descriptions, that just the space isn't big enough.
Okay. Yeah, I apologize for that. We'll go back and see if it's how it was put into the document formatting. Usually with alarms, some alarms are considered nuisance alarms, and some alarms are actually considered alarms, but they have to answer both of them. So for instance, the hospital recently had an issue with their fire panel where they were getting nuisance alarms. That would be one type of alarm. And then an actual alarm with smoke would be another type. But I can get more information, get that fleshed out more for council if you'd like.
It's not so much for me, it's for the members of the community reading the report. But thank you.
Absolutely, yeah, we'll follow up on that. Thank you. That's a good point.
Yes, thank you. Very important that we keep our public informed on. They might be minute stuff to us, and we've heard it before, but it's important that they come to know that we're giving them all the information in front of us that we legally can. So thank you. Okay, report. Any more questions? Question Nelson?
Thank you. I just get a really great deal of pride when I read this report because, you know, it really does showcase some of the really highlighted projects of our community. And I think our staff deserves kudos for putting this together, not just putting the report together, but doing the work and getting these projects completed and bringing that pride about for our community members. So thank you, staff. I think you're doing a great job.
Any more comments, discussion? Okay, all those in favor? Carry. No reports and no new business. At this time, any public questions? Yeah. Any or hearing any adjournment?
Second.
All those in favor? Put this one to Okay.
Hi, I'm Jillian McDonald, local Tim Hortons owner for Chetwynd. Then it's camp day, and all of our proceeds from hot and iced coffee go to the Tim's Foundation camps. At the restaurants locally, we're doing a bunch of different incentives. Pick a sucker for a chance to win a prize. We are doing toss a toonie for prizing, as well as selling camp day bracelets and camp day socks. So in the 30-year history of Camp Day, we have nationally raised $225 million and helped send over 300,000 kids to camp between the ages of 12 and 16. Come on down to your local Tim Hortons, or if you're in Chetwynd, come see us. We have police officers washing windows in the drive-through lane, which is always a fun time. Please come and help us send a kid to camp.
It'll all go on if we're here or not, so who cares? So what? So who cares? So what? You ask me, is it fun to cry over nothing? It is! I'm breaking down.
Walks me down the aisle, my mother starts to cry, but I can't see 'cause Link and I are French kissing. Listen, I can hear the bells.
Pair of new shoes with matching laces.
Permanent box at the sheep's head races.
Stormy eyed rye with a sour pickle. My personal puss on a wooden nickel.
Look at me, I'm the king of New York. Suddenly, I'm respectable, staring right at your lousy missteps, knowing with all the marketing box.
which is Red Dress Day, and it's the day to honor our missing and murdered Indigenous women and girls and Two-Spirited people. Red Dress Day was started by Jamie Black. She was hanging red dresses in the trees of her community to represent those that we've lost and to bring awareness.
Is there anyone personally in the community here that we know that we've lost? And like, I guess through any of the like highways or anything like that, do you know?
Yes, quite a few, and some very close to our family here at Tansy Friendship Center.
Sorry to hear that. And so have you guys always usually been doing something for it since it began to be recognized?
Yes, we try to make some event in whatever form it looks like each year here at Tansy. In the past, we've done drumming on the front stairs. I think this was our first year for a long time doing the walk.
choose to do the walk?
This year we chose to do a walk because we were thinking of different ways to make awareness, have our voices heard, and actually Jeanette went to training and learned how to make that big banner that you saw. So we put all the stories, which are the words, on that banner, and we wanted to show the whole community.
Okay, and then tell me about the small little dolls.
Oh yes, the Faceless Doll Project. So that was actually started by the Native Women's Association of Canada in 2012. Now back in 2012, there was an estimated 600 girls, women and girls, missing across Canada. Unfortunately, we don't know the accurate number, but we're looking at over 4,000. So the dolls represent these women who have become faceless victims of crime, and no two dolls are the same, and each one is a story. It's a statistic.
And did the community sort of partake here to make their own doll?
We did. We sent some kits out to our schools in the community. We showcased them at 10 businesses across the town. We got close to 200, which was really amazing.
Remember me, when the sun comes up in the morning sky. There I will be, soaring with the eagle so high, feeling free. Remember me, down the road, hand in hand, you and me. Hey-oh, hey-oh, hey-oh. Hello, hey, hey, hey-oh, 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 hey.
The Lion Inn and Suites and the Red Lion Restaurant are independently owned and operated by Ken and Lily Chan. With daily, weekly, and monthly rates, the Lion is perfect for visitors to stay one night, a few days, or for the duration of a job in the Peace region. As a guest, stay in one of our 19 modern suites with brand-name mattresses, fully equipped kitchens, exotic hardwood flooring, and coin-operated laundry machines. Enjoy all the amenities of home. Have a little time to relax? Each one of our suites includes a giant flat-screen TV, complimentary cable television, and free internet access. The Lion Inn and Suites is wheelchair accessible and staff is on duty 24/7, providing round-the-clock security. So, for your next getaway, come experience our brand new luxury suites. For reservations, call 250-788-9990. Reserve online at thelionsuite.com or email thelionsuites@gmail.com. 5132 46th Avenue Northwest, Chetwynd, BC. The Lion Inn and Suites. Your executive home away from home.
Too good to be true. That's what they say anyway. The other shoe will drop. That's when you'll pay. Because in time, the bottom will drop out, and it's
Uh-oh. What is gonna happen? A gold armor skeleton!
She almost lost her own friend. No.
Hey, Kat. I have a bone to pick with you.
Welcome to Chat TV Gaming.
Well, I don't know as it is really a band, but we just get together and play together. So anytime when people would come over to visit, we would just pull out the instruments and start playing. Dad would be on the fiddle, Joanne on the piano, Levine on the guitar. Now, I was usually pretty small then. So anyway, Clem, he learned to play the piano, and well, he plays lots of things. Yeah, no, whenever we get together, it's just always been music. There's nothing like music. Life wouldn't be the same without music.
And we'll go up further, is just up the hill here is where my grandma Marceline lived, where I lived and was raised. I'm trying to figure out today, I think we moved here in 1960. Everybody, we squatted up here. Nobody owned their properties.
Here's to whatever protects my whatever makes you These days
My grandma, for extra dollars, she used to make hides every day. All my life, I could remember her making hides. As you can see on the one video, this is what she did for extra dollars